Hello. Hello. Welcome everybody. Jason Meyer here, and tonight on Masterworks, we're going to dig into a couple of paintings by Tucker Smith and see what we can learn. Yeah, sorry about that little delay. For some reason, that scene is slow to get loaded. So I hope it's happening now. So, hello Claudia, hello Shakti. Welcome, welcome. So we'll look at Tucker Smith tonight. Before we do, I want to make a little announcement. We will not be having this program tomorrow night, Masterworks. Instead, what we've decided to do is we're going to extend Sketch Club for anybody that wants to hang out and extend. We'll have our regular program, 2 10-minute sessions. So if you want to get a little program in and then run off and do something else, you can. But we do have some people that don't have a lot of company and everything. And so we're going to do that in case they want to hang out and have a little company for a little while. Cindy will be at her grandma's. She is in our pod already. So nothing new spreading around there. But Cindy and I will be here. So it'll be just Cindy and I on Sketch Club tomorrow. And we'll hang out for a little bit if anybody wants to hang out. And that's on Facebook at 6:55 Pacific Standard Time. As well, I'll be going live at 1:30 tomorrow, doing the 4-value compositional study for the landscape for the class. This is for Monday class. If you can't catch it, we'll play it back, and it'll be there for later. But if you want to watch or ask questions, that'll be happening at 1:30 tomorrow, and at 8 a.m. we'll have student feedback. So lots going on. But why don't we get to the program tonight and look at Tucker Carlson. This is one that we looked at in class a while ago, but I thought it might be nice to come back and visit it a little bit. As always, let's take just a minute and take the painting in. Look with your own eyes. What do you see? How does it make you feel? Do you like it? Do you hate it? Why do you like it? Why do you hate it? All right, give it a good look. All right, so yeah, Claudia's in now. Oops, there she is. And Cindy's back. The one and only Miss Cindy Meyer. All right, now that we've had a chance to look at this, what have you guys seen? What do you guys see? So I just want to generally point out some things, and then I'd like you to look at those for a minute, and then let's go in and talk about those things even more. Right? There's just so much here. Why don't we work in a color that you can see? There we go. So hopefully you can see why we're looking here. For one thing, it's a big reddish, brownish spot against a bunch of greens and blues. Right? So of course it sticks out. There's another reason it sticks out, but I'm going to wait and see if you see that, and we'll point that out at a later date. But he's not sitting out here in his lonesome all by himself. There seems to be quite a bit of that color. Did you guys see that? Did you see that before I pointed it out? The extension of that and how disciplined he was about keeping this color right through there. So let's dig even a little bit deeper though. You guys see that? Seemed like just a little bit earlier I was telling Sue that you shouldn't have those corners like that. But if you got a big bull right here, you're ready to take it on head on, well, that guy could stand a little bit of that. And again, what is it pointing at? Well, it's pointing at where we want to go. It's not pointing out of the picture. And as long as we're on the subject, did you guys pick that up? Did you pick that up before we pointed it out? Huh. I wonder where he wants us to look. Bet if we think real hard, we might be able to figure it out. Right? What's he trying to tell us? Right? He's very clear in what he's telling us. Right? There's absolutely no question whether this is where we're supposed to look, or should we be concentrating on this guy? Right? That seems like an absurd question. What do you mean concentrate on that guy? Can you not see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 arrows pointing? But again, let's look at something else. Then what happens after he does this? He slows us down. Right? And although this does this, look, raising a little, again, it slows us down. Before we're head on there. So even though there's not a lot of detail there, there's still a lot of rhythm. Can you see that in the shapes? So this is nicely climbing up this hill here. And look at us intersecting and slowing that down. So I don't know if somebody in particular said this, but I've heard it for years and years. If you want to learn to paint, paint still life. If you want to learn to compose, paint landscape. And if you want to learn to draw, paint the head or the figure. So in landscapes, this abstract arrangement's very, very important. How do your spots of snow come out? Do you see how descriptive every one of those marks are? And look, they're basically joined together with that. And another thing that you may not even have noticed, so Cindy says it looks peaceful, but also it's from a distance because the thing's huge. Yeah, that's part of it. It's able to catch that, the massiveness in the animal, and yet how minuscule they're in the landscape, right? All just that correct relationship. Tom made it. Hey Tom, what's happening, buddy? Good to see you. Yeah. Tricky guy, right? Yeah, all of this is going on, and just it can just look, oh, what's the big deal about that? Well, quite a bit. So just a reminder, I want to make sure everybody hears this. There'll be no Masterworks tomorrow night. Instead, New Year's Eve, we will have, what will we have? We will have Sketch Club on Facebook, Meyer Studio, and we'll extend that show. We'll have our regular show. Then anybody who wants to stick around for a little while and sketch or chit chat will do that. Izzy will be with Grandma, and Cindy and I will be here on the Facebook show. So that's what's happening tomorrow. As well as our 8 a.m. show, Student Feedback, our 1:30 studio time. I'll be doing the 4-value compositional study for the landscape option for class that starts Monday. And then tomorrow night, Sketch Club, we'll have a regular show, and then we'll extend that for a little while if there's anybody that wants to hang out and have a little company. I know we have a few people who attend live by themselves and haven't seen anybody in a little while. So if anybody wants to hang out, that will be fun. And if not, no big deal either. Okay, so when we turn it in black and white, what do you see? Oh. We started looking at things, didn't we? We were seeing buffalo. Well, yeah, what's the problem? Well, as artists, that's not how we're supposed to see. The buffalo are the same as the trees. Right? They're darks. Same as cloud shadow. Same. Little introduction there. Same. When I say same, what am I saying? They're basically the same value, right? They're reading as darks. Now, this dark looks close and these darks look far, but it's still the dark back here. So let's look at this again. Where do you look? Even when you can make no detail whatsoever out. Right? This is one way you can see the painting as a whole, is just literally make it so small that there's no detail. Right? The size of a postage stamp. But can you see the beautiful value pattern he set up? Does that sky just slide right into those mountains? How does it do that? Well, through the exposed rock. Right? How's he divided the foreground from the middle ground? Well, there's bigger changes between light and dark here, and then even the flowers, bigger changes. They're predominantly vertical marks, or you feel vertical shapes. And then as we move back here, it starts going more horizontal, doesn't it? Until we get to the mountains, and then those are more diagonal. Right? And then the clouds just differ in the nature of the shape. So in this way, he's clearly divided foreground, middle ground, mountains, distant mountains, sky. Did you notice that before? Did you notice how he kept each piece, each picture plane separate? Champagne and cocktails. Well, as long as you're serving them, they're included, I guess. That's the beauty. That's the beauty. You manage the camera right, you don't even have to put pants on to come. Just make sure the camera's shooting, chest up, and be as comfortable as you want. Yep, for our tomorrow night. All right, let's look one more time at the color version of this, and then let's look at one other painting of Tucker Smith before we call it a night. Let's remind everybody, I don't know if I did this yet, who this is. So this is an American artist, Tucker Smith, still living. 1940 he was born. And over the years I've seen a few of his paintings, and I've actually been seeing some of his paintings since before I knew what I was doing. And it's kind of amazing to stand in front of one of these things and think, okay, I get it. Give me a couple years and I'll have it. Oh, Susan, what's happened? You got your own animals or what's going on? It's all good. This isn't a place for stress. It's all good. You can always go back. But we're glad you're here. So we're looking at Tucker Smith tonight. We just finished up looking at this one. And now we're going to talk about a second painting of Tucker Smith. How about this? Right, the photo, as you can see, came with a little bit of the gold frame on the inside of it. I couldn't crop it out without kind of making it cockeyed, so we just left it in there so you could see the entirety of the painting. So I'm, again, like always, just take a minute and look at this before I suggest anything. Right? What is your response to this? Is camping something you like? Is the outdoors something you like? If it is that the reason you like this? If you don't like camping and you don't like the outdoors, are you still attracted to this or no? Right? These are all good things to know. Yeah, they almost look like photos, but they are more. That was when I stood in front of them as a novice. That's what you think. Oh, of course. Right? Well, there's years and decades and miles and miles and miles of canvas underneath these beautifully hidden designs. So, but that's also why it's just so beautiful to keep coming back to these. So what do you guys see? What do you see? What do you see? Well, let's take the color out and see what actually is happening here with value patterns. And let's disorient ourselves. And as we come back up, maybe we'll even turn it sideways. Remember what we're looking for, right? Similar values, because that's what we can control. So the kettle on the fire, the shadows on the rocks. You guys see how this is a single dark shape that continues the dark shape into something we're going to call grass or shadow on the grass. Then what happens to this? Okay, there's a little break. So again, you see there's an organization of there's a lot of dark grouped here together, and then there's some lighter gray invading the dark and just a little bit of the lighter stuff on the inside. You see that? And then what's the next dark shape? Look at the difference between this side of the shape and the top side of the shape. Talk about active and passive, huh? Meaning passive active. Okay, that's a design decision. And then he just holds us in with that little bit up here. Can you see that dark pattern happen now? And then we have the gray, which would be the grass, the rocks, even this grass, the shadow on the white tent. And then a little lighter back here. And then we have the white, the very light. Maybe even some of those rocks back there. So do you guys see that value pattern? You know, in some ways it's absolutely so simple. That only a master could do that. Only a master can take a scene like that. Well, what are you talking? There is no way that you should be able to get away with a big white shape. Look how big that thing is. Right? It's like staring into the sun. Most that would all, and yet he's managed it somehow to where, look, we've got a focal. How did he do that? It's cool that he did it, and yeah, let's admire it, but let's dig deeper. How did he do? How did he do that? Well, this guy's got value going for him. And there's some pretty active shadow shapes coming into this, which means the white shape, not only is it quote unquote white, but it's active. Oh, that's so sweet. That's so sweet that you think that's active. here. Let us talk about active. In other words, this is what, 100 times more active, these shapes, than the shapes on the tent. That's not by accident, guys. That's not by accident. Hey, Shakti too. I'm so glad you guys got a nice little community going here, that we have a nice little community going here. It's important. It's important, and that we can focus on a little beauty. I think it's good for all of us. Good for all of us. All right. Let's see. So that's about 25 minutes. So why don't I turn this upside down? We'll look at right side up. We'll look at it in black and white here for just a second. And then let's finish it off with the color. Seeing it in color one more time. So if you have a question, go ahead and put that in. It'll take a minute just to get here. It's about a 45-second to minute and a half delay. You guys are awesome. You guys are awesome. But now that we talked about it, can you see the difference in the shape and the tone, and how he's balanced the activity and the act of the campfire to the much less activity of the tent, to the even less activity back behind the tent in the sunlit field. Right, a couple of rocks, and we're going to call it a day. All right, so what did this guy look like before we stole all the color from it? Wow, huh? And then you add that orange. Where's the orange at in this painting? Well, obviously, right? I mean, obviously right there. But is that the only orange? What colors do we have here? Well, I think we can pretty clearly see green. All right, going all the way back. There's some green up here. And we've got orange, and, you know, that would be kind of a neutral orange, red, yellow, some of the dirt. There's some orange in the pole. Picking up a little warmth in there. But also, I'm reading this white as a warm, meaning got more yellow, right, where the shadow's more blue. Right? Remember, the shadow of this is basically the same value as the grass in light. So I just point that out because part of the pattern is the color scheme, right? The value scheme, and then the color scheme works on top of that and with that. I know, it can almost make you mad. It can almost make you mad. And I believe it was Shakti who said earlier, it almost looks like a photograph. That's the beauty of these things. Yeah, until you see them in a museum and you step right up to them. Then what you're going to see is big brush marks, chunky paint, thicker paint. You know, it's pretty amazing when you get right up. But again, you step back from it, and it's like, well, what's the big deal? It's just a photograph. No, it's not just a photograph. It's not just a photograph. It's a beautifully created and designed work of art. And as we become aware of how these guys and ladies did it, well, we can do it ourselves, right? At whatever level we're at. But don't think that you can't do it and it's too late. Right? Guess what? The time is now. And by the way, I'm not just saying that. It's always now. It's always now. Right? You can't do anything tomorrow, or tomorrow you can't do anything yesterday, but right now you can do something. So just paint and learn and draw now, and be happy that we're so blessed we're able to do this. All right. Well, that seems like a good place to stop the show. As always, if you enjoyed the show, please give us a thumbs up. Make sure to like and subscribe. An update on tomorrow. There will be no masterwork. There will be no, this program will not come to you tomorrow night, New Year's Eve. Instead, we will extend our Facebook Sketch Club program. So if anybody wants to hang out after Sketch Club for a little while, we can hang out and goof off and chit chat. I can draw, you can continue to draw, whatever you like. Prior to that, there will be an 8 a.m. morning jump start and a 1:30 what? I'm going blank now. Studio time, right? We're going to do the composition. All right. Thank you, everybody, so much. You guys are awesome. And we hope you guys are able to join us tomorrow night for a little while. That'll be fun on Facebook. We'll see you guys later.